Hi, everybody, and welcome to TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee. This is me, Oberon, here to give you your emotional exchanges, my weekly reading for romance or relationship-related kind of situations as they pertain to the signs of the Zodiac. So it's been a new format for, over a month now where I just pull one card for each sign and I kind of let go on it. And to do that, I am working with the incredibly, always wonderful to work with Enchanted Tarot by Amy Zerner and Monty Farber. This is the Ace of Hearts, or the Ace of Cups from that one. And all of their tarot divination works are incredibly beautiful, multi-textured, wonderful oracles. So check them out. And so to get started, of course, we always do a collective reading for the audience, an entire one. And to use that, I use the Karma Music Tarot. Old tarot that's sort of rare. I don't think a lot of people use it, but it's beautiful in its own way too, artistic interpretation. That's the Seven of Cups from that deck. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle those and give us our reading for the collective to get us started. Alrighty. And we have the Page of Swords, the upright Page of Swords. I imagine that in the manner of emotional exchanges, whether it's about relationships or just feelings between people and situations, we should all strive for a measure of grace and diplomacy. You know, there's a lot of talk in the media about people just being ready to throw down in one way or the other. Verbal abuse, fighting, using your car as a weapon, not caring about damage or injury to bystanders, collateral damage. Let's all try to improve the social tone by being a little bit more virtuous, a little bit more willing to err on the side of diplomacy and understanding that we all have feelings. We all want our feelings to be understood. And that means that maybe we have to be willing to also work on understanding others' feelings. So I'm off my little soapbox and I'm going to move on to the reading. And as I mentioned, I use the Enchanted Tarot, and I pull one card for each sign of the Zodiac. We're going to do them in their normal order from Aries down through Pisces. I love the Enchanted Tarot. It's a little bit big and wide. I think when my fingers were younger, yeah, it's been around for about a good 20, 25 years. They were a little bit more dexterous working with them. But if I had to be totally honest, I would say that this deck is far more than just a deck to use for good divinations. It's suited to that because it has a wonderful book that gives you information to use them as affirmations, but that also includes some good material in setting up simple ceremonies, rituals, or spells, whatever you call them, simple things you might have or use if you already do any sort of esoterics. And so it's a way of combining the affirmative qualities of these cards to creating that energy to affirm what you're seeking from the universe. And of course, not every single card in the Enchanted Tarot is about love or relationships, but that enchanted quality of emotional feel and weight pervades every card. So I could just go on probably for a while talking about how much I love these cards and how much it is fun to work with them. But we're only here for a few minutes today, so let's go get on with that. And I'm having some problems with my set here. Oh well. So our first card is Aries. 10 of Hearts. Aries, 10 of Hearts, you feel like maybe everything is really moved to a point of a completeness of happiness. You feel like your family or your home or your situation with friends and structure is exactly giving and allowing and willing to accept what you give too. And I think that's a big part of this card too, is that it's a twofold process. It's not just about feeling the love of family, but it's how families or these situations feel what you give to them. All right then. And on to Taurus. And Taurus, you're the Two of Pentacles. So I think, Taurus, for you, in terms of relationships, you have a lot on the plate, and it's not just your relationships that are important this week, but it may very well be that you have some other more important things, and you have to figure out how to give due balance where you need to. You may be working on career opportunities, or you might have other situations. Maybe you're involved in formal or informal discussions of any number of matters. And you have to be able, like being a student. There's that may have been what I was looking for. So I think you have to watch for that and try to balance. Maybe after this week, it'll be more clear sailing for emotional matters. Okay, Gemini, you have the Four of Pentacles. And Gemini, I think this is saying this is a time for you to really hold on to what you have emotionally. There could be a number of reasons for this, Geminis. Maybe there's a feeling that, some sort of loss has happened. Maybe it signals that there has been a disagreement or some sort of breakup in emotions. And now we want to try to hold on to what we can. Some of that could be material things, but it could also be the emotional qualities. Maybe we've lost somebody through other means, passings, and maybe there are things that we need to hold on to there. So I think this card is really saying, in terms of emotions, Geminis, put yourself at the center of your own generosity. Give mostly to yourself at this time, because I believe your heart really needs it. And so now we have Cancer. And Cancer, you have the Four of Wands. So Cancer, you maybe will find that you're being invited to a wedding, a celebration of happiness between people. Maybe it's an anniversary. Maybe it's just a party with no specific theme, but the idea about celebrating people who care about each other. So I think this is possible, but I think that in terms of just your emotional geography at this time, you're happy because maybe you see really good things for you ahead, things that show that love is a bloom, that relationships with good friends matter. And then Cancer, or I'm sorry, that was Cancer, Leo. And Leo, you have the Three of Hearts. So for Leos, it's almost nearly the same thing. You may be feeling that you're really drawn, especially to some happiness. Somebody is dancing the dance of love. Somebody is dancing the dance of happiness and celebrating that. And of course, some of this could just be the fact that many of us have been really in an odd space with the pandemic, and maybe our approaching holiday season is promising us the most of a chance of celebrating joy and happiness and sharing that with others. And so I think Leos are especially looking forward to that. If there is nothing more specific, your own wedding or nuptials, your own engagements, or your children or people that are very close to you, those things could be happening too. On to Virgo. Virgo, you have the Six of Hearts. So Virgo, at this time, and it is shortly after Veterans Day, and there are all kinds of other remembrances of people who died in service to higher causes or to a nation. And I won't diminish any of that, of course. It could very well be that for the Virgos, this is a time of true remembrance of the fondness we feel for those that maybe we're not able totally to be there in the now with. So, memories from the heart are very important to you at this time, Virgo. Libra. Libra has the Four of Swords. Libra, you're possibly one of the signs that often sits a little bit askew of the emotional realm. There may be uh, some generalizations ahead here. Some people say, well, Libra is the only sign that's not represented by a live object, that's represented by something that's metal, cold, a machine or something. And of course, there's so much more to astrology than just ascribing the sun sign's basic characteristics. Any sign like Libra or any sign would have other potentials in their chart based on where the moon is or what house is their Leo, for example, things like that. So what I think I'm saying here is that you're suited to take a time off right now, to take a time out, a big time out. You're suited for some rest and recuperation. It could very well be that the emotionality around you drives you to this because perhaps as a Libra, although you may not understand emotions or see emotions the way other people's are, you're quite aware of them, Libras. And sometimes it may just be time really to pull back. Scorpio. And Scorpio, you have a Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles, you feel really strongly about giving deeply from your emotional well. Almost no one has the amount of energy that Scorpios may be able to whip up, and especially when it's driven from what they feel deep inside their hearts, deep inside their sense of devotion, perhaps, for those who are truly strongly religious or spiritual. This is a time for you to consider, Scorpio, how best you want to help others and how best you want to give of yourself. And maybe for those who are looking at the potentials in relationships or the potentials in taking relationships to another level, this is saying give fully of yourself, especially from your heart. Certainly, there's a material aspect here, but really it is about the well of emotions that you have as an energy source to give freely. So now we'll move on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius has the Princess of Pentacles, so that would be like the Page of Pentacles. Sagittarius, this is a time for you to maybe invest in really looking inward at the people around you, especially their motivations. You are that kind of personality. You may discern things a little bit dispassionately yourself at times, but I think this is saying that there is something for you to seek in that people watching or whatever you want to call it, because this is going to be about emotional aspects in your life, how you exchange feelings or energies with others. And I'm thinking that at this time, you are looking to question maybe specific persons, but also maybe just in general, the people around you who say they care about you, who say they love you, and maybe you want to explore exactly what that means in relationship to you. Capricorn. Capricorn has the Seven of Swords. Capricorn, in ways of emotions, you may be feeling you have to be a little bit sly. You might have to play your cards a little bit under the table. This is not about cheating necessarily, but this is about being clever, maybe also feeling too that if there is a cause that is worthwhile to you and that you are righteous about being the achiever of that cause, you may have to do some things a little bit more secretively. And Capricorn, I always feel there's a resonance towards Scorpio in some ways. I have a friend who could talk about that for a long time. And I think maybe Capricorns just need to channel their friendly scorpionic uh, air of mystery when it comes to not necessarily defining all of your motives and maneuvers, especially in the ways of love or emotions. So moving on to Aquarius, and we have the Ten of Swords for Aquarius. And Aquarians, you may feel that something has dramatically happened to you this week, that maybe you have been severed literally from something that had strong emotional resonance to you. So maybe this is indicating that there's a big change, not for the good, in a relationship. It may not signify the total end, but it may signify the end of a particular status quo. There's always a sense, I'd like to think, that there's still some sort of light beyond this card, some sort of comfort. I look and see a mother holding a child that may be in extreme discomfort, and she is wishing with all her heart uh, for something better there. And it's there. Um, it may be that that thing you love the most needs a lot of attention from you now, too. And if it's yourself, then you know how to do that too, Aquarius. And please, Aquarius, do remember that you are the sign of brotherhood and love, so people care about you too. Don't isolate yourself too much at this trying time. Finally, we are on to Pisces. And oh, bad way to end up here, Pisces. You have that card that Banshee and I often think means no one wins, especially if it's reversed. But for the sake of the emotional exchanges, I do not read any of the enchanted cards as a reverse card. It's not indicated in the guidebook, and I just think that it sort of adds to the aspect of what I'm doing here with my emotional exchanges. So having said that, Pisces, you may feel truly that you are without allies or that you are really at the bad point of um, the challenges. You could also feel too that maybe you're holding the sword, so to speak, of the challenges, that you are the person maybe who is dealing with adversarial forces. And no matter how you interpret that, and whether it's upside down either, it does not feel good for you. This is a rending time, just as it is for Capricorn or I'm sorry, Aquarius and possibly some of the other signs. So I don't know if it's astrological. I have a feeling it could be. But Pisces, this is not a good time for you this week. You are really holding down strong forces of dispersion and adversity against you. And I think it's affecting you right where the feels are, the emotional aspects of yourself and your life. So I want to caution you about that. I want you to take as much care as you can, like I would caution for any of the signs at this time. We are effectively moving into the darker time of the year. And so from this time forward, there is a tide that works towards rest, renewal, remembrance. It's a time of kind of shoring up all of our interests, all of our resources, and trying to hang on as we get through those darker winter times. Um, and remember, you know, it really won't be a little bit more than a month, 45 days or so, till the winter solstice and the sun will be born again. So I'd like to leave you with that. And remember, mostly we have good things to talk about here. So don't forget to view our other shows and get good positive news. Tomorrow will be the happy hour, which will be at 3 p.m. It's normally at 10, so set your clocks for that one. And don't forget our other live streams. Don't forget Banshee's Material Matters on Sunday mornings at 10. And have a wonderful week. Thank you for all your support. We'll see you again. Bye now.